I look at the news and what do I see but Michael Moore colluded with Russia after 18 months of Democrats telling us that Donald Trump colluded with Russia. He colluded with Russia. We now find out that actually it was the Democrats who, I guess, sort of colluded with Russia, and really nobody technically colluded with Russia. So I should take that back about Michael Moore. Technically, he didn't collude, I guess. The indictments last week, the Mueller indictments, showed us that there were a lot of Russians in the United States masquerading as Americans. So they might have said, okay, we've got this dirt on Trump or this dirt on Hillary, and the people talking to them would have thought that those were Americans. They might have talked to campaign volunteers, they might have been on Facebook buying advertising or whatever, but ironically, one of the big news stories that came out of the indictments last week is that apparently nobody actually colluded with Russia. They just talked to people who they thought were Americans. Now, this would not be the same, by the way, for someone like Democrat Congressman Adam Schiff, who thought that he was talking to the Russians about compromising things from Donald Trump, thought that he was talking to the Ukrainians, but he wasn't really. That was just a big hoax. So actually, that would be collusion, even though there was nothing there. And with the Russians, even though there might have been something there, that isn't collusion. Now, there's a lot of collusion. We've known on the American right that for a long time that this story was total nonsense. Van Jones also admitted that and called it a nothing burger. Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein also knew that. She admitted we don't have any evidence for Trump colluding with Russia. None of this, though, should surprise us whatsoever, that the American left has been duped by the Russians or has been working alongside the Russians, because American lefties have allowed themselves to be used by Russia for a very, very long time. In the case of Moore, Moore attended an anti-Trump rally organized by Russians just days after the 2016 election. And this was apparently part of the strategy. Russia has been interfering in our elections for a very long time, since the Russian Revolution in the early 20th century, and I suppose this year was no different. So they appear to have run ads for candidates like Donald Trump or, say, Bernie Sanders, and then after President Trump won, they started pushing these rallies for Hillary Clinton and for saying that Donald Trump is not my president. They actually held one on November 12th that was explicitly called Trump is not my president. Moore attended it. He posted on Facebook, quote, "At today's Trump Tower protest, he couldn't come down. He wouldn't come down. Here's my Facebook Live coverage." So he was broadcasting from the event. He was a central figure there. That said, Michael Moore tends to be a central figure wherever he goes.